Hey guys, so I thought for a fun playthrough of Rimworld I'd be starting a hotel. I'm going to be playing on the second hardest difficulty on Randy Random. It's been a couple years since I've really played Rimworld, so I thought it would be a good place to start and go from there. So right away when I looked at the map, one spot in particular spoke to me. It had hills and a coast. I thought the coast might be good as far as an appeal for a hotel would. So it'll be a coastal hotel that we'll be starting here. So this time around I did make a preset before I started. I have a couple settlers that I had in mind when starting this game. First will be Orange. She's our leader at 70 years old. She has a major passion in cooking, animals, and artistic, and a minor in intellectual. She's incapable of violent, caring, and firefighting. So she isn't going to be tremendously useful in a lot of ways, but that passion in cooking will be really useful. Second, we have Snake. Snake is our jungle kid. He's 18 years old with a minor passion in animals and social. He's just kind of an edgy teenager who I thought would be a good mix. Next is Apple. She's one of the daughters of Orange. She's a brawler just like Snake is. She has 15 melee skills and a minor passion in it, so she will be able to hold her own in a fight. A major passion in animals and social will also come in handy, along with the minor in plant, even though she's only starting at 4 skills. Bear is Snake's father. He has a major passion in shooting and a minor in melee. Starting with 10 skills in plants and a minor passion, he'll probably be doing the bulk of the planting and the plant cutting in the early game until Apple's skills go up. Plum is our last one, and honestly I just hit random a couple times until I came up with something that seemed nice. She's the older child of Orange. She has a minor passion in shooting, melee, and construction, and a minor passion in artistic as well, but for the time being it's mostly going to be that construction skill of her building everything in the base. Here's a brief overview of the relationships. I did add a father and a mother for the kids, so they will probably appear at some point in the world. The first little bit here is just going to be me getting everything set up and giving weapons to the appropriate pawns. I noticed a few good spots to start here, but I did want that coastal start, so I neglected a better farming position up north in favor of this one. I'm also just building a quick little room to store all of our wood and pemmican and placing down 5 beds in an infuriating pattern. And I'm also setting some manual priorities because I don't know how anyone plays without manual priorities. I don't want to ever open that menu if I don't have to. I'm also just having them clean up the area by selecting all of the debris and putting it into the storage there. I also noticed that there's a lot of marble buildings on this map, so I quickly tore them all down so that I would be able to build with marble. It was pretty soon after that I got a combat supplier. You only start with 200 silver, so there was nothing I could really buy that was worth it. I kind of looked at it. I really wanted the lever action rifle, but I couldn't afford it. I decided to build a limestone research bench since I had all that limestone sitting around from earlier. I decided to start researching stone cutting first, as I had a lot of stone sitting around and I would need to build up defensive walls eventually, along with building a nice looking hotel. Again, building with limestone because I have an abundance of that and I don't have anywhere to grow trees, so I won't be able to get wood. Using the blueprint mod, I made a quick 5x5 bedroom out of rocks, and I placed down 5 quick bedrooms. I had a meteor shower or hit, which had a nice bundle of silver there, and also this, which ended up being mechanite parts. I think it's just a glitch from one of the mods, but I'm leaving that there for now. So I decided as a group it's going to be Orange's tribe, but this specific location is going to be the Tranquility Base Hotel. I had another trader show up shortly after, and they did have this crafter base station that I really wanted, but over 1,000 silver, and I was not anywhere close to getting that, even if I sold everything that I had in the base. And then I had another trader show up right after that, and this one was a slaver. It had these 3 old men, but none of them looked too good, and I don't want more 67-year-olds with frail backs joining our colony. It just wouldn't be worth it. I had another slaver show up. This one had a couple better choices, but again, I didn't have the money this early on. The first quest that came through was the Fleeing Baroness. Arepos Lotus Gas, a baroness of the Broken Empire, is calling from nearby. So she just wanted me to keep her safe. She just wanted me to keep her safe from a threat. I decided to accept with Orange because out of all the members of this tribe, I thought she would be the best one for the psychic powers. So it turned out it was a manhunting corgi that was chasing her. It was pretty easy to dispatch with my 2 people with ranged weapons. As soon as I killed the corgi, I loaded her into her shuttle and sent her on her way. I was able to get my first level of psychic powers for Orange. This adds the psi focus bar on the bottom here with its heat. If you haven't played Rimworld, going over this heat does cause to different levels of brain damage, I think. I haven't played too much with the royalty expansion. I decided to just create a build to create as many stone blocks as possible, and then I had a mad kangaroo visit in the middle of the night. Everyone was asleep, so it seemed like a pretty decent time to just kind of watch it run in circles. I looked away for a second, and the next thing I knew, Apple was being chased by the angry kangaroo, so I brought out my 2 ranged guys and Snake with his knife to help fight the kangaroo. Thankfully, the fight was over pretty quickly. The combination of the melee and 2 bowmen were able to take it out pretty quickly. I had a quest come up called Keeping Kevin, which I had to babysit a turkey named Kevin for 8 days, and I would be able to get Patricia here. Patricia was 52, but these passions seemed really worth it, so I decided to accept her because I don't see how much problems Kevin could cause. Apple got infected in her neck, and the infection was going really fast. A bulk trader came by, and I was hoping to be able to buy some good medicine off of them, so I quickly sent Orange out to negotiate, but unfortunately they had nothing that would have been able to help Apples. I had to stick to the herbal medicine, and there wasn't much I could do. Just hope that most of the 10s were good. Checking in on her, it looked like her infection was still growing faster, and she managed to tend herself with a 0% quality, and then was retended with a 30% quality. Unfortunately, Apple would pass away, and I would bury her over here by the Seguro cactus that would have to be cut down. So I had Plum bury her, as it seemed fitting for her to bury her younger sister. This will lead to a huge mood debuff for both Apple and Plum, as they were both related to her. I was hoping these guys would have something. They did have a couple interesting things like the hive data or the drone genetic material, but there wasn't anything that I could use right away, and I was pretty strapped on silver anyway, so I decided not to get anything from them. The only threat that I was really facing were these wild animals that were trying to hunt my colonists or hunt our turkey Kevin, so I was able to dispatch them pretty easily. Snake did get pretty scratched up, but it wasn't anything that seemed too threatening. Then again, I thought Apple's wounds weren't very threatening either, and she ended up passing away. One of our guests started a social fight with Plum, and when I looked over, Plum and Shiro were going at it, and Plum managed to murder Shiro. Because this was a social fight, I don't think it impacted our relationships with this group. 2 other people in that faction also started social fighting right afterwards. I decided to quickly snag that hunting rifle instead of having the bow and arrow for Bear. We had an animal transport pod land. It was just a pug that was not hurt at all, and it just kind of wandered off the map. I wasn't really feeling like taking care of any animals at this point anyway. They tend to just eat all your food and not provide much. Decided to use a rough wall to wall in this area as well, just so that I would have a bit more of a choke point if I did get raided in the future. I created a fishing zone so I could supplement the amount of meat I was getting at this point of the game. For a couple days, things were pretty peaceful. Not much happened except for collecting of stones and getting a wall built. I did start growing cotton because I wanted to start fabricating some clothes, because it was only a matter of time before the clothes would get tattered and I'd start getting debuffs from that. So I had a quest come up called the Ghost-Faced Prisoner from the Broken Empire again. They wanted me to keep Leonard or caged for 23 days. I decided to look at our priest here, and I was stunned by the amount of passions he had. He was also photosensitive, which meant I could lock him in a dark room to do whatever for days and he would be pretty happy. I knew I needed our priest. I quickly turned Apple's old bedroom into a prisoner cell and captured Leonid as they dropped him off on the ground. I started planning out where I wanted the first iteration of our hotel to begin. So I planned out a couple smaller rooms and a couple bigger rooms before putting any walls down. I put in some marble walls, and then the shuttle arrived for Kevin. So I sent Kevin off and I got Patricia to join. I quickly set Patricia up to mostly make stone blocks for her existence here, because I needed a lot of marble to build the hotel. I also set about building a couple more bedrooms for the colonists, because I felt like we were going to be getting a lot more, and I didn't know if I had enough bedrooms already built for them. So I did a little bit more construction and planning for the hotel. So it's just going to have 2 big rooms for now and 4 smaller rooms until I can get some more stuff researched. So I did finally get raided, and it was the father of Plum and the now deceased Apple. So I was not looking forward to this. Hopefully I won't have to kill him and he'll just be downed. We'll be able to capture him. It wouldn't be good right now for Plum to lose both her sister and her father within days of each other. I had Plum and Bear stand outside and fire at Franklin. Franklin did die, unfortunately, which led to some real big debuffs for Plum. I think Plum even fired the last shot. I decided to make a grave right beside Apple's for him, and then I got a quest to build a monument, and some of these rewards were pretty cool. The mine screw sounded really nice. I would love to try that on another playthrough, but for this one we're not looking to commit too many war crimes, so I decided to decline it. Plum, of course, eventually broke and became corpse obsessed, and I watched her go right over to her sister's grave and pull her up and dance around with her near the campfire. I put down some sleeping spots for now in the hotel. I figured I really wanted this open and I wanted to get some guests in by the end of this episode. I debated raising the price for them as well, but I decided not to because they are just dark rooms and they'd be sleeping on sand, and I didn't think that was worth anything. So Leonard started self-harming, and usually that's not a huge deal. I kind of just let him do it. Usually they cut themselves a few times before giving up. I set it to reduce resistance, so hopefully he wouldn't be as sad in the future. He did only have one cut at this time, and I didn't think much of it. My neglect turned out to be my biggest hindrance, and soon enough Leonard was on the ground bleeding out. He only had 4 hours, so I needed to get someone quick. I chose Patricia to capture him, but what I didn't notice was that she was a heavy sleeper and would prioritize her sleeping over saving him. I then decided to get Plum to save him. I decided to not give him any medicine, but just try to stabilize him for now. It was really close. I needed him to live so I could get the priest. If I lose the priest, I don't know what I'll do. I need to get that priest. And then he died. And then goodbye, Nigel Williams, a 17-year-old priest who has a passion for everything. At that point, I made that bedroom into Patricia's bedroom, and I did get my first group of visitors. So they took out most of the bedroom, and they seemed pretty content with it at first. I needed to beat up Plum because I was tired of all these breaks, so I put her into catharsis and captured her for now. We had another trader show up. There were a few things I wanted, including these 2 kite shields. Orange also went on a bit of a break, so I decided to beat her up as well while we had some guests outside. So then I realized that all of our guests are pretty upset about sleeping in the sand, and I realized I needed to build some beds, but unfortunately I did not have them researched at this point. There was nothing I could do about it. So I decided to make a note to research beds next. And then I had this happen. The noise was awful, and when I looked over, sure enough, Isadoa, one of my guests, had transformed into a mega spider. It was very odd. He just kind of wandered off the map at this point, and I guess he didn't have a good stay at my hotel. I was pretty upset about it, but at least the other guys stuck around for another couple days while their friend turned into a mega spider and walked off the map. I put down another floor in one of the more premium bedrooms, but it wouldn't be over a while until that was finished. At this point, pretty much everything I wanted to accomplish had been done for the episode, and our guest from the Tasada Union gave me a -100 score, which I am pretty upset, but they did see one of their friends turn into a giant spider and walk away from them. Hopefully next time I'll be able to have some guests who don't absolutely hate it, and I'll be able to build some beds instead of having them sleep in the sand. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think if you want to see more in the future, if you have any suggestions, if you have any secondhand embarrassment for just how rough of a playthrough this has been. Thank you.